He stood at my door holding a box of toys. His voice was soft, polite even, like we were strangers. But the child he smiled at, the little boy hiding behind my legs, was his. That's the moment I realized something that still chills me to this day. You can share a child with someone, and still, they can look at you like you're nobody. My name is Susan, and this is how I learned that some goodbyes never really end. For 5 years, it was just me and my son, Ethan. He had my eyes, my smile, and his father's laugh, the one that used to echo through our kitchen before everything went dark. Our mornings were simple. Toast, 1 egg, sometimes 2, if I wasn't too tired from the night shift. Ethan would chatter about dinosaurs or the funny thing Mrs. Bell said at school. And I'd nod, smiling, pretending not to notice the way his shoes were beginning to wear thin. Life was never easy, but there was peace in the routine. Silence didn't hurt anymore. It became a friend that filled the spaces where love used to live. The last time I'd seen Justin, Ethan's father, was the day he left me. We were engaged. I was 6 months pregnant. He said he wasn't ready to be a father. He said he needed to find himself. And then he found someone else instead. There were no calls, no visits, not even when Ethan was born. It was as if the world swallowed him whole. So when he appeared at my door 5 years later, holding that box of toys like an offering, my hands started to tremble. He looked different. Sharper suit, calmer voice. The same smile, only emptier now. "Hi, Susan," he said softly. "I was in town, thought I'd stop by." I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Stop by? Like he was dropping in on an old neighbor? 5 years of silence, and this was how he came back. Ethan peeked from behind me, curious. Justin crouched down to his level. "Hey, buddy," he said. The word buddy hit me like a slap. Ethan. "Mommy, who is he?" And in that moment, the air left my lungs. We sat in the living room, the same one I'd kept alive, with secondhand furniture and 1,000 small prayers. Justin looked around like he was visiting a museum of a life he once knew. "I heard you did well," he said. Raising him alone must have been hard. I forced a smile. It was, but we managed. He nodded, eyes darting to the photo of Ethan on the mantel. First day of school, missing tooth, shiny blue backpack. He stared for a moment, too long. "I'm not here to cause trouble," he said finally. "I just wanted to see how you were doing." I wanted to ask, why now? Why, after all these years of silence, guilt, and sleepless nights? But the words got caught somewhere between pride and pain. So I just said, "We're fine, Justin. You don't have to worry about us." He smiled, that same shallow smile, and for a second, I thought I saw regret behind his eyes. But regret without change is just another form of cruelty. When he left that day, I stood by the window, watching him walk away. Part of me hoped that was the end of it, but deep down, I knew better. When ghosts come back, it's never for nothing. 2 days later, I saw him again, at the playground. Ethan was running toward the swings, and there he was, standing by the fence, watching. He waved. Ethan waved back. It should have been sweet, but something inside me twisted. Later that night, I found a small envelope slipped under my door. No name, just a note. "We should talk. There's something I need to tell you." That night, I sat awake long after Ethan fell asleep. The house was quiet, except for the ticking clock and my heart beating faster than it should. He'd already broken me once. What more could he possibly take now? The next morning, I found him waiting outside the cafe where I worked. He hadn't changed his habits. Still early, still neat, still pretending everything was under control. I walked past him, ignoring the way his eyes followed me, but he spoke softly, just enough to make me stop. "Susan, please, 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." I wanted to tell him to go, to disappear like he had 5 years ago, but something in his voice, it wasn't guilt, it was fear. We sat at a corner table, the smell of roasted coffee beans mixed with the bitter taste of old memories. He stared at his hands for a long time before he spoke. "I didn't just leave because I was scared," he said. "I left because I thought I was protecting you." I laughed, the kind of laugh that comes from anger, not humor. "Protecting me? From what, Justin? You left me pregnant and alone. You didn't protect me. You abandoned me." He looked up, his eyes red. "You don't understand. The people I was working for back then, they weren't good people. I got caught up in something I shouldn't have. Money, debts, threats. I thought if I disappeared, you'd be safe." The words hung between us like dust in sunlight. Slow, heavy, hard to breathe through. "So all this time, you were alive, hiding, while I was raising our child alone?" He nodded. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm trying to make things right now." I crossed my arms. "Why now?" He hesitated, and that hesitation was enough to tell me there was more. Finally, he said, "Because I'm sick." The world seemed to go still. Even the noise of the cafe faded. "Sick?" I repeated quietly. He nodded. "Kidney failure. They say it's serious. I've been on the list for months." He swallowed hard, then looked at me with that same practiced calm he used when lying. "I don't have family, Susan, except for you and Ethan." And suddenly it hit me what this was about. He didn't come back for me. He came back because he needed something. My hands trembled. "You came back because you think our son can save you." Justin's lips parted. No words came out. The silence was his answer. That night, I watched Ethan sleeping. His little chest rose and fell, so peaceful, so unaware. He was everything pure that had survived the storm Justin left behind. How could a father look at that child and see not love, but a solution? I remembered the times Ethan asked about his dad. "Was he brave, Mommy? Did he love you?" And I always told him, "Yes, baby, he just couldn't stay." But now I saw the truth. He didn't stay because love was never enough for him. The next day, Justin showed up again, this time at our house. He knelt on the porch when Ethan came out to play. "Hey, champ," he said gently. "Remember me?" Ethan nodded shyly. "You're Mommy's friend." Justin smiled, but his eyes flicked up to me, and there was something in them that made my skin crawl. He didn't see a son. He saw a chance. That night, I called him. "Don't come here again," I said. "If you need help, I'll find a way to get you treatment, but you will not use Ethan for this." He was quiet for a moment, then whispered, "You'd let me die?" "No," I said, "but I won't let you take from him what you already took from me, peace." He exhaled shakily. "You've changed, Susan." "Yes," I said. "You taught me how." And then I hung up. Days passed, then a week. No calls, no visits. For a moment, I thought it was over, that maybe he understood. But one afternoon, I came home to find the door slightly open. My stomach dropped. Ethan's backpack was missing from the couch. "Ethan?" I called. No answer. My heart pounded as I ran outside, and there he was. Justin's car was parked down the street. Ethan was in the back seat, waving goodbye. I ran, shouting his name. Justin stopped the car, stepped out, hands raised. "Susan, wait, I wasn't taking him anywhere. He just wanted to see the park." I grabbed Ethan, pulling him close. "You don't ever touch my son again." Justin's face crumpled. I just wanted one day to know him. I shook my head, tears burning my eyes. You had years, Justin. Years you threw away. He stepped back defeated. You're right. Maybe I don't deserve him. Then he looked at Ethan one last time. But tell him I loved him, even if I didn't show it. And then he drove away. For good, this time. A month later, I got a letter in the mail. No name, just an envelope with hospital stationery inside. I'm sorry for everything. I'm leaving this world knowing Ethan is safe. I couldn't be the father he needed, but maybe I can give something back now. At the bottom was a donor form. Justin had signed up for organ donation. Ethan will never know the full story. Not yet. But someday, when he's old enough, I'll tell him that sometimes love isn't about keeping people close. It's about protecting what's left of your heart when they're gone. When I think back on that chapter of my life, it no longer feels like heartbreak. It feels like survival. Justin didn't come back for love. He came back because of guilt, fear, and maybe, in his own broken way, a longing for redemption. But what I learned is that closure doesn't always come from the person who hurt you. Sometimes it comes from the way you choose to move forward. I used to believe love meant holding on, forgiving endlessly, waiting for someone to change. But love, real love, means protecting your peace. It means drawing a line between what you want and what you deserve. Ethan still asks about his father sometimes. I tell him that his dad was brave in the end, not because he came back, but because he finally let go. We visit the park sometimes, the same one where I last saw Justin. Ethan laughs, chasing butterflies, his laughter echoing in the air like a promise that life goes on. And in those moments, I whisper a silent thank you for the pain that became strength, for the goodbyes that made room for healing, and for the lesson that every ending can still carry a little bit of grace. Because sometimes, the people who leave us teach us how to stand taller when we're finally alone. Would you have opened the door if you were me? Tell me in the comments. And remember, every story heals a heart that once broke.